Hi, everybody, and welcome. I am Vera Jones, and you are with us again for another episode of Perseverance Live. It is an Olympic type of season, and I am so thrilled that in a timely way, we are going to be speaking to an Olympian who has made it on the show today. She is a Perseverance speaker that graduated a few months ago, and her story is nothing short of just amazing. You are going to absolutely enjoy her, as I do. Or at least that is the hope. Perseverance Live is the place where you can come to find ordinary people who share their extraordinary stories that absolutely educate and inspire the world. Each speaker comes through a graduation ceremony at the Perseverance Speakers Academy and also has an opportunity to come on this show and speak live to you. So tonight, or this evening, we'll be talking to Hamchetou Maiga-Ba, who makes it all the way to here to us from Mali, but she also lives currently, I got it right, in Valley Stream, New York, which is close to JFK, which I did not know, but now I know. Welcome to the show, Hamchetou.
Thank you, Vera. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you were able to come on. One of the things that I wanted to start off, usually we start off with a little clip of your speaking, but I think you doing it live is a little more exciting. The thing that I loved about your signature story is that you began your story and you came out and you said hello in like 15 million different ways. Can you do it for us here?
Yes, of course. Hello. Awinisu Wargabani. Bonsoir. Buenas tardes.
I was going to ask you
here. Thank you for having me, Vera.
Yeah, you're very welcome. How many languages do you speak?
5.
5 languages. What 5?
I speak Songhai and Bambara, because my mom and my dad speak different dialects, and Spanish, French, and I guess if I can count English.
And it was English, speaking in English, that you wanted to do more of, which is why you pursued, or at least one of the reasons why I understand that you pursued a career in public speaking. But what is it that made you pick up the phone and call me that day?
No, I think I've mentioned this in the past to you, is that you are somebody that I've really looked up to in the industry, not only your career in general, and your path is something that I've always admired. And out of the blue, I was trying to get in touch, and the Facebook feed came to me, and I'm like, this is a calling. I was trying to get into this, and the Facebook feed came. So that's how I'm like, you know what? I reach out, and I am very thankful that I did.
So the Facebook ad, which I always plug one in the middle of the show anyway. So yeah, I've got a bunch of Facebook ads out there just telling people about the Perseverance Speakers Academy. So you came through and you felt like you had a calling to speak. Was it because but you were shy, right? I mean, overall, you just kind of had a fear of speaking, or talk a little bit about why. Where do you think that shyness came from?
Well, I that's something I would say my upbringing. Since as a little girl, I've always been very shy, and being in the basketball middle definitely has helped me improve in that area. But still, as talking, I feel like I need to share my story, but my thoughts were not as organized as they need to be. So when I find out through the Facebook ad that you have started the Perseverance Academy, I thought that was very fitting at the time, so I decided to reach out.
Well, I'm glad that you did. It has been just wonderful having you as a student and just even a friend. Sometimes you'll send me a text and it's just right on time. I really appreciate that. I think you have exactly what the world needs to inspire and to uplift. But if we can, let's go in and talk a little bit about where you came from. I mean, obviously mom and dad, we get that part, but where you came from very humble beginnings in a country far, far away from here. Yeah. And yet and still you've gone on to become a WNBA champion with the Sacramento Monarchs and also an Olympian. But I want you to take us back, because part of your story that's so, I think, inspiring is the fact that you came from a humble beginning. That people talk about how women's sports isn't appreciated here in America, right? Yeah. That's an argument for debate, but it's also, relatively speaking, when we hear your story. Talk about what it was like to be a little girl that had fallen in love with basketball in Mali.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I come originally from Mali in West Africa. My mom was a basketball player, so basketball was something, I guess, that was supposed to be in my path. I come from a very big family. I have 19 brothers and sisters.
19 brothers and sisters. That's like 2 full court basket. I mean, that's 2 basketball teams right there.
Yes. So based on that, I started playing basketball, and unfortunately, young girls are not seen as being authorized to play basketball or even go to school sometimes. We were mostly seen as those that should be home helping our parents and things like that. But I personally was very fortunate because my mom and my dad were both athletes, and I've highly valued education. So my my calling was basically, as long as I do well in school, I could play basketball. So that allowed me to keep on playing and be able to do basketball at the same time. But it was definitely not an easy path, I can say that.
What were some of the struggles coming up? I mean, I guess it's hard enough just that you're in a place that does not value girls, as you talked about, allow girls to really participate in sport. And yet and still there were outlets that allowed you to do that. But what were some of the struggles? What were some of the things you had to overcome or persevere through?
Some that I can think about is basically, I was very shy. So with my shyness, basketball was the area, like I said, where I felt at home. But beside that, and I was gifted in a way, and the work ethic also helped me indeed. But at times there were some jealousies, and I was not good at the talking back and forth. So I kept myself.
Yeah.
And that's something that I even said I kept it all the way to the WNBA here because of what I went through as a young girl. I didn't know who was my friend because of that. So it did a bit of rejection. I didn't know if the people that were around me because of me as a person or because of my basketball qualities and stuff. So that was a challenge that I had to go through. And another thing was the practice area where I grew up. Not that we play outside for the most part. All of our practices were outside. So I lived very far from our practice facility.
Yeah.
The team that originally I started playing with, because I was very young, they were not playing me. I had the skills and stuff, but I was very young, short, so they wouldn't use me. So I went to a different team that was very far from my home. And it would take me more than an hour to get to the practice facility. Wow. So those were challenges that I had to face. And the language sometimes, that was when I left Mali to go to Senegal, for instance. I initially didn't speak the language. And being from a very big family, that's something that being away from my family was not easy. It took a little bit of adjustment. Though Senegal was not that far from my country. It was, just an hour flight, but still, it was the first time I was away from my family.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I always, so if I were ever to tell people that, I'm a little shy, people would be like, give me a break. Oh, please. Right. But I do understand what it's like. I've been pretty much an extrovert, but I've certainly been in those situations where I've felt reserved, shy, uncomfortable. There are young people, grown people that go through that, experience that every day. And yet and would never, ever think about picking up a microphone, standing in front of a room and speaking, let alone traveling to countries, learning new languages. What was it that helped you break out of your shell? What was it that got you to a place that you believed in you, all the way to a point that you continue to play basketball and literally just came over to this country and became a star? What was it? What helped you break through that shyness?
One of the very first thing I would say is the support that I had from my parents.
Mm-hmm.
From a very young age, they kind of given us the values and letting us know that we can do anything that we wanted to do. So with that, we needed to have the work ethic and the belief in ourselves that anything is possible. Of course, setting up goals. And as I was growing up, the more I played, the more I could see, oh, this is there. Maybe I can try to attain that. So setting up goals was something that helped me progress throughout my career, I would say. And making it to the US I had no idea what it was, but when I were home, we always, dream of, I would like to come to the US. And that's how when I made it here, the opportunity when I was in college, I thought that I would just go to school, do my 4 years and go back. I did information technology with that mindset, saying that once I finish, I want to be able to do something back home in Mali that I won't be dependent on anybody. With the diploma that I had, I could help back home. That was my thought process. And playing the WNBA was there. I'm like, why not try to get there? And I did the work process. My coaches have helped me big time with the practices, because some of the stuff that I was not good at or I didn't know, I had to adjust to the US basketball initially. So I had a lot of help for sure.
In the WNBA, did you ever, I'm trying to think in all these, did I ever interview you? Did I ever interview you for a post-game interview?
I don't recall in the WNBA, but I will always remember our when we were playing in college, my very last year of my senior year. It was our game against Purdue, because we were mad that we were ranked 7.
Yes.
And we have 7. We went and beat Purdue at home. Purdue was, I believe, 2nd. And we beat Kansas. Kansas was 3rd. So you were on ESPN and you were talking about, there is this girl, skinny girl from all the way from Mali named Maiga.
And I wasn't saying your name right. Yeah, I probably was getting your name.
Same with Maiga.
Yes, yes.
I always remember that.
And the reason, one of the things I was wondering was, did you ever have to do post-game interviews after you finished the game? So you went to Old Dominion, played for Wendy Larry.
Yes.
After the game, you have a big game, you're a big star. So after the game, did you ever have to do the post-game interviews? Did you ever have to sit and do like the press conferences? Yes. How'd that make you feel?
I was not the best at it, I would say. I just feel like with years, I've grown a lot more. With my teammates on the floor and stuff, I would talk. But outside of that, as soon as practice finished, I kept to myself a lot. And that's something that I totally regret, because I feel like I missed out on so many opportunities because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you advise people who, the more introverted people who experience shyness, how would you encourage them to break out of that shell?
I would first find somebody that you are comfortable with. With that one person, you can start building up your confidence. You know? And I think also, whatever it is that you're trying to be passionate about or talk about, know it. Once you educate yourself and you know what you are talking about, you will feel more confident in the process. I want to jump in because I really, really want to talk to you and ask you about your foundation. And I want to ask you about what your goals and your dreams are to do with that. But we're going to have to do that on the other side, because I have to go over here and we have to, what I call pay the bills, even though it's not a whole lot of bills. But we do have a wonderful sponsor. So I'm going to break away and we're going to hear from our sponsors. And we'll be back. We're talking to Hamchetou Maiga-Ba, WNBA champion, former Olympian.
WNBA champion with the Sacramento Monarchs, and we'll be back to talk to her and find out more about her life.
In today's busy, fast-paced world, you need hydration that can go the distance with you. Face it, most sports drinks are more like soda. Many contain tons of sugar, artificial flavoring, artificial colors, and artificial ingredients, sometimes leaving you feeling sluggish, nauseous, and bloated. Well, there's a new sports drink in town, and she's got game. Introducing Electra, supernatural hydration for everyday doers, hustlers, and athletes.
Reasons that we're here. Hey, it's Coach Vera Jones with the top 10 ways to know you should become a professional speaker. Number 1, you see or hear professional speakers and you say, I can do that. Number 2, you see or hear professional speakers and you say, I want to do that. Number 3, other people tell you you need to do that. Number 4, you already speak often in your workplace or your community. Number 5, you love telling stories and genuinely enjoy people. Number 6, you have a passion or calling for inspiring, uplifting, or educating others. Number 7, you know a lot about a thing or two. Number 8, you know a thing or two about a lot. Number 9, you're naturally charismatic or just have an influential presence in front of people. And number 10, you watch this video long enough to hear all 10 reasons of what you probably already know. It's time. Visit me, psvera.com. If you're serious and don't need any more reasons, let's talk about getting you started as a paid professional speaker. We're talking to Hamchetou Maiga-Ba, who is with us all the way from New York, but all the way even further from Africa, from Mali. And we've been just talking about her journey, how she got here and was able to, now you've got championship medals from all over. From Africa as well as from here in the United States. You've played on a lot of championship teams and professional teams, and you've pretty much become a leader on a lot of levels, including you've got 2 little ones at home who I absolutely adore. I'm adopting them. But in you, even in all of your greatness, was this desire to inspire and help others. Talk a little bit about what made you come up with the Hamchetou Maiga-Ba Foundation.
Yes, I always said that I was very fortunate. Everything that I've been able to accomplish, I know the hard work was part of it, but I've crossed paths with so many people that have helped me get where I have been. So it was only normal for me to try to give back. Mm-hmm. And that's something that my parents have shown me. I've grown up in that sharing at all, always. So it's been something that I feel like I didn't have any other choice but give back. I always joke, everything that I've been fortunate to get, am I going to go to my grave with it? So I feel honored to do this. So I decided to create the Hamchetou Maiga-Ba Foundation, which has a mission with, we use basketball as a pathway to education and inclusion for all. And the biggest part of the education part is that having gone through the system of student athletes, I've seen that back home, unfortunately, our 2 entities don't talk. And many of the kids tend to give up their schooling because of basketball. And the inclusion part is through Olympian University. I've been involved with Special Olympics. So, and back home, I also looked it up. We were not involved in the Special Olympic. So I went back in 2014 and created Special Olympic. Now through the foundation, I'm able to cater, so one of the mottos for Special Olympic these past years has been unified sports. So we are giving a platform to all those people with intellectual disabilities to be considered just like all of us and not be on the side. So the foundation is giving me a platform to do that and have kids. So in the past, we bring kids, anybody could come, but now we make it a requirement. You have to go to school and have a certain grade for us to participate in our camps. And we do, of course, basketball and life skills events.
So in Mali, because this is where the foundation, basically you're going back to Mali and doing this work. Do you have, obviously here in the United States, there's a lot of different organizations that cater directly to persons with disabilities. Do you have a lot of that in Mali?
Not as much, no. We have, even the schooling is hard. We are way behind. It's as if at the beginning of when Eunice Kennedy started the process here. We are in the back of that. We see them, we laugh at them, and they are hiding. Sometimes, they don't get to be. They say it's a curse. Some of the families see it as a curse, so they don't show them.
Wow. Oh, that's horrible.
So we try to go from families to families and try to get those kids that we have have intellectual disabilities, and we bring them to Special Olympics. So since 2014, we've been doing it. We hope to do more of it, but it's been a long journey that we are not where we want to be for sure.
So you go back, do you go back every year? Is it a certain time of year that you go and you have these camps?
We usually, like, sometimes we do twice a year. And August with COVID, we haven't been able to do much. We have been doing just virtual, how you call it, life skills.
Yes.
And hopefully August, I'm supposed to go to Mali. We'll try to see if we can do something together at that time.
That is so inspirational. I mean, one of the things why you're one of my favorite people is because you're just so humble and you just want to do things for others, and you recognize, even with the humble beginnings that you came up with, because coming up with 19 brothers and sisters, I'm sorry, 20 people in a home is like, what? You recognize, but that also is a good thing, because there's a lot of warmth and love and that kind of unity. Right. So I think I understand you. I think I know why, because you want to create that atmosphere for other people. And I think that's a beautiful thing, and more people should be like you. We're coming up on the Olympics now. Are you paying attention? Do you get gooey inside when you think about another Olympic year and what that meant to you? And talk about what it meant to make the Olympics, how that came about.
We say, as a first, just representing your country as an athlete, there's nothing more honorable for me as an athlete than that. And getting to play in Olympics is a dream of every athlete, I would say.
And this was for Mali?
Yes. So first, winning the African Championship was something that I will always go back, and we were not able to accomplish. And 2007, the year we won, was also qualifying for the Olympics. So it was definitely a huge honor for me to be part of that, because our president at the time, may he rest in peace, he actually has pushed basketball a lot, has done a lot of things for basketball. So us being able to win was awesome, and at the same time participating among some of the best athletes was something that I say you only dream about. So a dream that came true for me. So I was very thankful for that.
When you played for Mali in the Olympics, I can't remember. What year? 2008 Olympics. Did Mali ever play the United States?
Yes, we actually played, but my Olympic was a little bit bittersweet, because I played 2 games and the third game was against US, but I got hurt. So I didn't play against US. My team, our country played against US. We celebrated our win. You know what was our win?
Yeah.
We started very well, and then US took the first time out. So our game was finished. We were just happy about that because that was no game.
Well, to your credit, the United States has dominated. I mean, absolutely has been a dynasty in women's basketball. I think there's only been 3 games they've ever lost in the history since back in 1976. So you kind of knew that you're going to be in trouble when she came up against the U.S. But was it kind of cool seeing some of the former WNBA players that you had played against? Yeah. That had to be fun.
Yeah, we had team picture after and all that. So it's always nice to see them,
Very cool. I'm checking out your background. I see the Wheaties box. Are you on that Wheaties box?
Yeah.
You're on the Wheaties box. I should make you get up and go. I got to see it. I want to see the Wheaties. I have seen that Wheaties box before, and I was like, oh, that's cute. She's got Wheaties. It never even occurred to me. She's probably on the Wheaties box. Who is that? What team or
The
who's on there?
2005 Monarchs.
The Sacramento Monarchs, when you won the WNBA championship, you made the Wheaties. You know, you're not anything in life until you're on a Wheaties box. I mean, I don't feel like my career is complete because I've never made a Wheaties box. I think that's pretty cool. On the way out, before we get ready to go, the whole point about the Perseverance Speakers Academy is there are people out there that feel like they have a heart. They feel like they have a calling to speak. I always say there's 4 C's, but really there's 5. I always say people typically decide they want to become a speaker either for confidence, because it definitely helps build your confidence. Would you agree?
Yes.
It builds your confidence. If you get with the right coach, shameless self-plug. It does help build your confidence. For credibility, you know, to be able to speak on different shows and appearances and things like that usually helps you document yourself as a credible thought leader or influencer. For career advancement, a lot of times in your career, you have to speak more, particularly once you move into leadership. And if you want to advance your career, you got to feel confident when you're talking in front of people. And then the last one would be cash. There is actually money to be made as a motivational speaker or a professional speaker in various fields. But the one that always moves me that sometimes people forget is just a calling. It's a calling that makes you feel like there's something I can contribute to the world, and I want to be able to do this confidently. What would you say to people that are out there that might be kind of on the fence, but also feel like maybe they have a calling? What would you say to them based on what made you decide to just say, you know what, it's time for me to speak, to have a voice, and to help people?
I would, not because I'm speaking to you, but seriously, there are many coaches out there, but I've enjoyed every moment that you were, you know, teaching us, because you were on top of it, you were available, and you showed us things that we were not thinking about, I would say, in the sense that getting your thought organized, but also knowing what voice to use, how to use them. So those things were very important to me. So I would definitely say, reach out to a coach. And if they can reach out to you, all the better. Because,
I wasn't even going in that direction, but thank you. Thank you for that.
I know, but just seriously, we say, you know, everything that you do, it's important to better yourself at it. So in basketball, we have basketball coaches. That's one of the reasons I was like, why not get a coach? She's been there, done that. So some of the things that I didn't know, you were able to show me the rope. And now I have to keep up the work ethic to maintain the things that you've taught me. So I would definitely say, pick up the phone, whoever that person might be that you think may be able to help you, it's worth it. Because whatever you have that you've been through, it's worth sharing. That somebody, even if it's one person whose life you touch, it will mean something. So don't keep it for yourself. Be willing to share it and go through the pain of learning or whatever it may be.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. I just think you're such an inspiration on so many levels. Your humility just shines through. You know, you're a great mom. You know, I'm sure you're a great coach. I bet your camps are fun. And you just have a heart for people. And I think that's beautiful. I am proud that you are a Perseverance speaker. And I look forward to hearing more as you get out there on the circuit and you're speaking more and motivating people and doing fabulous things with your foundation. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it, Hamchetou.
Thank you very much. It's been my honor. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's going to do it for us. This is Perseverance Live. I have another little banner that I wanted to run over here. It's so funny when I try to do this show and do 50 million things at once. I know that I'm not capable of doing it, so I'm not even sure how I managed to get through this. But thank you for your patience. Thank all of you that are watching on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. The show is always going to be available. And I'm supposed to give one more plug. The PerseveranceSpeak.com website is now officially, as of today, available. So go to PerseveranceSpeak.com and find out more if you are interested in becoming a speaker or being on this show. That does it for today. Again, Hamchetou Maiga-Ba, thank you so much for being so wonderful to join us. Stick around a little bit in case some people have some questions out there. But other than that, we will say God bless you and good night. we're going to move on out of here as soon as I figure out which one of these buttons I'm supposed to push. There it is.